Welcome back to my Bible journey. It's been about a week since I last did a video. I'm not very good at getting these videos out as regularly as I wanted to, but we're getting there slowly. We are on to Genesis 7 this week. I'm saying this week because it seems to be falling once a week. Before I crack on with that, I want to give an update on my sister, who some of you know, some of you don't. She has made what looks like a full recovery. So the epileptic seizure did some damage, but it was more water on the brain from a previous attack, but it's gone. She is fully operational, I should say. She's back to her normal self on the phone, at least that's what it sounds like, and Mum and Helen both seem happy with their progress. So that is amazing. I can thank everybody that put her in their prayers. So yeah, that's best bit of news, really. I think a lot of us were worried, but yeah, all is good. Okay, so I'm going to crack on with this. I want to try and make this a shorter video if possible. So Genesis 7, and the Lord said to Noah, "You and all your house shall come into the ark, for you I have seen righteous before me in this generation. You shall take with you every clean animal by sevens, the male and female, and take 2 of the animals that are not clean, the male and female." That's an interesting one. What exactly does that mean? You shall take with you every clean animal by sevens, the male and female, and take 2 of the animals that are not clean, the male and female. That's interesting because I'm not quite sure I follow the general meaning of that. I mean, usually when I think of the Noah's Ark thing, it's the animals went 2 by 2. Hurrah, hurrah. Okay, that's different. Okay. Also take of the fowls of the air by sevens, the male and the female, to keep their kind alive upon the face of all the earth. For in 7 more days I will cause it to rain upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights, and I will destroy from off the face of the earth every living thing that I have made. And Noah did according to all that the Lord commanded him. And Noah was 600 years old when the flood of waters began upon the earth. And Noah went in, and his sons and his wife and his sons' wives went with him into the ark, because of the waters of the flood. Now I read? No, I didn't. I listened to something today on a podcast, which is actually covering some of this, and they were saying that one of the things that they had trouble grasping when they were younger, and going to church and listening to the Noah's Ark story, they struggled with the concept of being taught that God is a loving God, and yet there he was effectively creating a genocide of his own people. But what we have to understand here is, and this is something that is revealed more in the book of Enoch, which, as I said before, I'm going to do a side video of that. I will be doing that this week. I'm going to make time. And it the Book of Enoch, it explains a lot of this part of Genesis, which is very sort of like condensed into just paragraphs that we've got to try and understand. So I think for some of us, the Book of Enoch is going to be quite interesting because a lot of people don't even know that it exists. It was wiped out of many faiths, like the Jewish and Christian Bibles. It is still going in the Ethiopian Bible. I believe that part of the Book of Enoch was found in Ethiopia, and that's why it's canon to their Bible. But I think the people decided to take it out because there's a lot in it that maybe a lot of people would look at it and think, oh, this is too far-fetched, there's too much. But it actually explains a lot. There's a lot to it, so I think you'll find that interesting when I come around to it. That's if you haven't already looked up the Book of Enoch anyway, which you probably have. If you're watching this, then the likelihood is you've probably had a deep dive at some point. But it'll be a journey together on the Book of Enoch. But for now, let's continue this before I get too distracted and start talking about totally random things. Where was I? And Noah went in, and his sons and his wife and his sons' wives went with him into the ark because of the waters of the flood. Of the clean animals, and of the animals that were not clean, and of the fowls, and of everything that crawls upon the earth. I'm still interested in that, of the clean animals, and of the animals that were not clean. I need to look that up. I won't do it now, maybe at the end. 2 by 2 they went unto Noah into the ark, male and female, as God had commanded Noah. And it came to pass after 7 days that the waters of the flood came upon the earth. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month of the 17th day of the month, on this day all the fountains of the great deep were broken up, and the windows of the heavens were opened. And the rain fell upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. On this same day, Noah and Shem and Ham and Japheth, the sons of Noah, and Noah's wife, and the 3 wives of his sons, with them, entered into the ark. They went in, and every animal after its kind, and all the livestock after their kind, and every crawling thing that crawls upon the earth after its kind, and every fowl after its kind, every bird of every sort. And they went to Noah into the ark 2 by 2 of all flesh in which is the breath of life. Now, in case you're just picking up episode after episode or just watching them at random, in the last part they said that God would guide the animals to Noah. It wasn't a case of they were just there and Noah and his family turned into cowboys and wrangled all the animals up. The animals were guided by God onto the ark. And they went to Noah into the ark 2 by 2 of all flesh in which is the breath of life. And they that entered went in male and female of all flesh, as God had commanded him, and the Lord shut him in. And the flood was upon the earth 40 days, and the waters increased and bore up the ark, and it was lifted up above the earth. And the waters prevailed and increased greatly upon the earth, and the ark floated upon the face of the waters. And the waters prevailed exceedingly upon the earth, and all the high hills that were under the heavens were covered. The waters prevailed 15 cubits upward, and the mountains were covered. And all flesh that moved upon the face of the earth died, of birds, of livestock, of animals, and of every crawling thing that crawls upon the earth, and every man. And all who breathed the breath of life, of all that was upon the dry land, died. Now that's an interesting little section of paragraphing there, where they said about every animal of every kind, and then and every man, and then in the next they're saying and all who breathed the breath of life of all that was upon the dry land died. Now I think they've separated that there because it wasn't just man on the earth at that time, and that is why God was doing a cleanse of the earth. It wasn't just about wicked man, it was how they had become wicked and what had happened to them, which again we'll see that in the side story of the Book of Enoch if you wish to follow that when I do that. If not, you just continue with this. That's if you want to continue with me at all. It would be nice if you did. And every living thing which was upon the face of the earth was destroyed, from man to livestock, and to the crawling things and the fowls of the heavens, and they were destroyed from the earth. And only Noah remained alive, and those that were with him in the ark. And the waters prevailed upon the earth 150 days. 150 days. Oh. Okay, that's interesting. So we sort of like hear the story of it rained for 40 days and 40 nights, and like I don't know why in my own head I was like thinking, oh, it ended after that, okay, fine, and everything goes back to normal. But of course, something's been raining for that length of time and you're flooding everywhere, then it's not going to go away after the 40 days and 40 nights, is it? It's still going to be settled. That was how long it was raining for. So they actually give here that it was like that for 150 days. So that means Noah and family were floating in the ark with the animals for a very long time. That puts a different spin on it. I don't know why. It's interesting. You sort of like hear these stories back when you're younger, and if you're like me and you haven't read the Bible from front to back. There's a very annoying fly just flying around here. If you haven't read it from front to back, and you're sort of like seeing it now, reading it now with sort of like adult eyes, it becomes more. You understand it more, obviously. But yeah, there's things here that I didn't realize, because I think the other thing is in church, when they read, when the pastor or priest or whomever reads scripture, they'll read like passages and sections of a story, but not all of it. So perhaps one week they're focusing on, I don't know, Matthew or Mark or whatever, and then the next week something happens in the world or in the news, and they pick another book to take scripture from. So you're not really following, I mean sometimes they do, but not all the time. You're not always following how the Bible is. So I think reading it like this for me is sort of like making things a little bit clearer and a lot more sense. And because it's making me want to deep dive like into the Book of Enoch and other things, like maybe the Book of Thomas and that as we go further in, we're seeing how it all fits together, and it's going to be very interesting after the Book of Enoch as to what some of you will think as to why it was taken out. because there are pieces there that piece so much together. There's even mention in it of the Son of Man, the Son of Man, and that is the name for Jesus. So if Enoch, the scripture of Enoch, was mentioning this back then, as he's the seventh line of Adam, that's pretty impressive. It also mentions about the Son of Man sitting next to God on high. So I mean, this is a book that's from a long way in front of the New Testament, but it is linking. So I hope that you'll join me for that side venture. I'll be posting my video everywhere so that I get views and what have you. But yeah, so that's the end of Genesis 7. We will continue with Noah's trip, journey, survival on the next one. As I say, first chapter of Book of Enoch will be out within the week, and then we'll do the next one of these. So as always, thank you for joining me. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe, because that really helps me push this out there for other people to see. And as always, God bless.